Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping future. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. you need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up onto the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand in your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. You will then proceed towards the Chancellor, Vice Chancellor or Acting Vice Chancellor and kneel with your right knee on the stool. At this point, your degree will be conferred. You will then proceed to the next official who will congratulate you by shaking your hand. Continue towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Turn and face the audience and remember to stand on the mat with feet markers in front of the registrar and smile for the camera. A second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table at the far right to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. For postgraduate and undergraduate diploma candidates, you will also be wearing your hoods before entering the hall. You will be signaled by a graduations officer to rise and approach the stage. You need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand. A graduations officer will then indicate to you where you need to wait at the bottom of the stairs and when you may proceed to go up to the stage and stand on the mat with feet markers next to the podium. You will hand your seat card to the dean or college representative. Turn and face the audience and look towards the photographer for your first on-stage photograph. The dean or college representative will announce your details and hand you back your seat card. Proceed towards the registrar standing at the end of the stage. Stop in front of the registrar and stand on the mat with feet markers. Turn and face the audience. Your second on-stage photograph will be taken at that moment. Leave the stage by the stairs closest to the registrar. Proceed to the table on the far right of the stage to receive your certificate. After receiving your certificate, proceed down the stairs to the foyer area, where a head and shoulders photograph will be taken. You will then be directed to return to your seat. We hope that you will enjoy this occasion. The University of South Africa prides itself for being the African university, shaping futures in the service of humanity. We congratulate all our students for having walked this journey with us. And today, we celebrate you for having successfully completed your qualifications. To you we say, Halala. To all our graduates and diplomandi in this ceremony, please pay attention to the following instructions. For degree qualifications, a graduations officer will signal degree candidates to rise and approach the stage. You will need to have your seat ticket and the yellow photography card in your right hand with your hood already draped over your shoulders. One of the official photography officers will take the yellow photography card from you. A graduations officer
By virtue of the powers vested in me as Chancellor, I constitute this gathering a congregation of the University of South Africa.
Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayers, meditations, and affirmations to give thanks for the accomplishments being celebrated this evening. Can we have a moment of silence? Thank you. Siyabonga. Mr. Chancellor, I request you, the procession and the audience, to be seated. May you be seated. Oh, sorry. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you very much. I now know that we are in graduations of the best university in the country, continent, and the world. I think we deserve a round of applause. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge the presence of His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, the Chancellor of the University of South Africa and the former President of the Republic of South Africa. I was going to be confused if I didn't have the applause, the ululations, because some of us, we would have been happy if in our graduations we had a very progressive and dignified president in our midst. And if you, thank you, colleagues. I recognize the appreciation. And therefore, we also recognize the members of council who are here under the leadership of Dr. Diao Musia, representing the various structures of the university. Let me start with the convocation represented by Mr. Justice Dabampi and Advocate Maluleke. Let me also recognize the presence of the Student Representative Council represented by Mr. Mabilani. You're the students, you don't even thank your own SRC president. I thought he was fighting for your rights and always making sure that you're supported, even on proctoring. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize the member of council representing administrative staff, Mr. JJ. JJ, you can wave your hand. His name is Mr. Jonker, but everybody knows him as JJ. Let me recognize the representatives of Senate, Institutional Forum, all other statutory committees of the university, the academicians of the university, but led by members of the management committee of the university. And to this, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Professor S.R. Mahanu, Vice Principal, Institutional Development. A round of applause. The Registrar of the University, Professor M.M. Siputa. The CIO of the University of South Africa, Ms. M.M. Nakene Mginki. the CFO of the university, the person who makes sure that the rands, dollars, cephas, yuans, and euros are protected and used for what they are supposed to be used for. Mr. Stanfleet, a round of applause. Thank you very much. Let me also recognize executive deans and deputy deans of the different colleges. The College of Human Sciences, Professor Nkosi, the College of Accounting Sciences, Dr. M. Songwan, the College of Economic and Management Sciences, Dr. Maschaba, the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, Professor Ganta, representatives from various UNISA colleges, recipients of doctor's degree and their supervisors, recipients of various degrees and diplomas of the University of South Africa. I thought you would clap for yourselves. And of course, the parents, family members, friends of the graduates here tonight, we're truly honored for your presence in these graduations. And finally, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, Dumelang, Sanbonan, Lochane, Reperile, Khotsong, Salam Alaikum, Jambo, Tabela, thank you. I count it a great honor and a privilege to be standing here this evening at a momentous occasion where we warmly welcome you to the University Spring Graduation Ceremony of the University of South Africa. We have two more graduations that the university will be hosting. One, in this important hall, the ZK Matthews, in celebration of master's and doctoral degrees that are still pending and had been audited. The second is the graduations in Ethiopia, where our students in Ethiopia, because we have a campus there, will be graduating. We're truly appreciative for these graduations because they are testifying to the resilience, excellency, and determination of our students here at home, in the continent, and elsewhere. We're extremely appreciative that the University of South Africa has a footprint in 130 countries. I think it deserves a round of applause. Why is it important for us to telling you this? It's important because as South Africans, we should be proud that the University of South Africa is the first university in the world to teach via distance. The first university in the world to teach via distance. Prior to 1883, when UNISA was founded, no university had used the postal office as a mediator of access of higher education. At the time, our university was an examination center for colleges and others that needed to study through UNISA. But also, in terms of the history of the country, this is the time when the minerals, resources, the diamonds, and other resources in the history of our country were being found to being strong in the industrial time of that epoch. In the current context, UNISA grapples with the aftermath of COVID-19, the expansion and acceleration of digital systems, the new ways of teaching and learning, including subjecting you, our students who are graduating, to integrity systems that make sure that our qualifications and our credentials are important, are honest, and they can give you the opportunity to thrive anywhere in the world. And as we celebrate your day of graduation, we know that you didn't like the proctoring tool. You complained a lot about it. But it was the only way that we could make sure that you're the ones who wrote your assignments, that no one assisted you. Neither AI did not do the answers for you whilst you were writing examinations. And therefore, It is precisely because of your dedication and commitment, your sacrifices, your resilience that you're graduating, and we are celebrating you this evening. On the 30th September to 2nd October 2025, the university kept its promise to conduct graduation ceremonies for those whom COVID-19 pandemic robbed them of the opportunity to graduating in this important hall and all others that University of South Africa has its graduations. I think you deserve to give them a round of applause. We saw many people coming to these graduations. When we invited them, we thought we would only have maybe 1,000 people who were passionate about their graduations. We received 17,000 applications for people who had graduated during COVID-19 but never went through the graduation hall. I want to celebrate with Professor Siputa, the Registrar of the University, and all other colleges for ensuring that we gave dignity to the people whom their resilience and efforts were stolen by COVID-19 period. Congratulations. And now you who are graduating this evening may have encountered COVID-19 pandemic, may understand why it's important for universities to being central to the imagination of our society. And I wish to state that we know that some of you may have taken 7 years to do a 4-year degree. We celebrate you. We do so because you may have had an option to give up, but you didn't give up. So give yourselves a round of applause. We are also aware that some of you are the first in their families to graduate, or even in your villages or in your immediate families. Can you raise your hands if you're one of those who are the first in your families to graduate? We celebrate you because you saw the imperative of education. You saw why it was important that our former president, President Mandela, who also graduated from this august university, would have made an appeal and an invitation to all of us to value education as an important resource that changes lives, that changes society, that changes the plight of a mine worker to become a mine owner, a child of a farm worker to become a president or a leader of a state, of an enterprise, of a university, of any other entity. And therefore, we heed the counsel of our president about the value of education as that which has utilitarian value, changes your plight, but makes you better citizens and better people in our society. Let me just give you some of the statistics that are quite important as we celebrate these graduations, the penultimate graduations of our time. UNISA in 2025 will have graduated 66,025 students. Colleagues, did you hear the number? 66,025 students. In our country, this is the size of Rhodes University, of Wits University, as well as of Mpumalanga University and others put together. And we are quite proud of the contribution that UNISA is making to changing the plight of society, but also to heeding the call for our country on its national development plan for ensuring that youth and young adults, and those who are as old as me, to look at education as an important resource. In these graduations, we also have 501 PhD graduates. We also have almost 1,000 master's graduates. It therefore means we don't lose interest or commitment to ensuring that the Africa we want, the National Development Plan, but the roles of universities in South Africa, in the continent, become an important task for our society. As we celebrate your graduations, we understand that it is a proud moment for you and your families, as it is a proud moment for the University of South Africa. We do not take lightly that some of you, this moment will mark an important historical transformation for your families and for your society. Equally for our nation, the continent, but why Africans must do the best in the world. In this context, university education is not often accessible to majority. The higher education as a whole is only able to take 1,200,000 students, meaning the university system, not the TVET colleges. You therefore represent a few of these people that have the opportunity to graduating from universities. This responsibility, therefore, does not allow you to gloat, but it invites you to being part of a society, a circle of excellence, a community of people who will contribute to the betterment of our country and society. At this point, when in our radios and televisions, we hear about the collapse of governance systems, corruption arising and stealing the opportunities of addressing poverty, injustices, economic transformations of our society, you who will be graduating are required to being servant leaders who lead with grace, compassion, dignity, and who ensure that you address corruption, poverty, unemployment, underemployment, and all the grand challenges that our society inquire. For African universities are not just about the epistemologies that we affirm or assert, the pedagogies that we use for teaching, but they are also about the ontological foundations that are important about how you conduct yourselves. For the longest time, African universities have been at the center of the futures that Africans must frame and imagine for themselves. African universities have ensured that the canons of knowledge that come from the West are not the only knowledge arena that are affirmed, but that Africa's knowledge systems, civilizations, and ideation become important. It was our Chancellor, when he was the President of the Republic of South Africa, who ensured that Timbuktu manuscripts are saved as a testament of the history of the knowledges, whether in pharmacy, in medicine, in sciences, and in other arenas, are kept for posterity so that we as Africans know that we did not just meet education when the colonizers arrived, but education has always been at the center of who we are. I think he deserves a round of applause. The literary icon Ngugi wa Thiong'o also reminds us that you who will be graduating today and all of us live in simultaneity or multidisciplinary spaces. We live in the local and global at the same time. What happens in America influences what happens in South Africa. What happens in South Africa influences what happens in the continent. And therefore, as graduates of the university, we expect you to understand the full breadth of this interconnectedness, because South Africa and the continent will only be able to step up if you understand why it is as an African graduate, you have to contribute to the betterment of our country. As you graduate today, you're called upon to remember the purpose of education, knowledge, and ideas in a rapidly changing world. You're reminded that your qualification is not merely for career advancement. It's not for you to ask for a job. It's for you to ask, what work can I create? What employment systems can I create? And even as I look for a job, how do I make that such a job becomes resourceful? And therefore, we hope that you're not going to be graduates who say, I cannot find a job. But your graduates will say, what are the resources around me that can help me to create enterprise? And where can I look for enterprise development? We are also appreciative that you will be an agent of social change for better South Africa, Africa, and the world. And that you will draw on the lessons and insights of intellectuals such as Amina Mama, who says, persuaded by the spirit of care, empathy, and compassion, the empowered, meaning you who are graduating, will go out and contribute positively to the development of our communities, both locally and internationally. In that way, you'll become the kind of graduates whom society yearns for, the kind who will change the society for the better, and who will find rampant systems of injustices in our world. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude my remarks, please allow me to welcome to UNISA alumni, a prestigious association of more than 1,200,000 unisans spread across the world. From this moment when you graduate, you'll form a part of a galaxy of distinguished leaders who constitute our alumni, such as His Excellency President Nelson Mandela. Can you give him a round of applause? And if you thought we only produce one president, you'll be making a mistake. His Excellency President Thabo Mbeki is also an alumnus of this university. And he is here, he can bear testament for that. The President of Haiti, Jean Bertrand Aristide, is an alumnus of this university. And if you thought we just produce presidents, I think you may be making a mistake. I also said the current president of the country, President Ramaphosa, is a graduate of this university as well. But we also produce opposition political leaders because democracies become exciting, resourceful when there's political parties that also engage one another. If you think about it, Musi Maimane of the former DA and now BOSA is a graduate of this university. Dr. Mutsuku Peku, the former leader of the Pan-African Congress, is a graduate of this university. Sello Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters is a graduate of this university. But also Musibudi Mangena, professor, who, under the leadership of President Mbeki, developed with universities and Science Council the first EV car. Its name was called Jewel. Do you remember it? So when you're buying Chinese cars, European cars, Asian cars, Korean, you must remember that if we had invested in Jewel, as us and as the country, we may have had a car from South Africa, not just Venter. You know, Venter, the courage that we... So we still have to make sure that as UNISA and as you members of society, those dreams that President Mbeki, Minister Msibudi Mangena and society about the innovations that we should make in changing the economic plight of our society find resonance. His Excellency Justice Mogoeng, the Chief Justice of this country, is a graduate of UNISA. You, the lawyers. But the youngest Robben Island prisoner, Deputy Chief Justice Dikgang Moseneke, is a graduate of this university. And if you have 10 rands, 20 rands in your bag, if you're not yet using only digital systems, the people who signed your notes are graduates of this university. So Jill Marcus, the first governor, woman governor of the Reserve Bank, is a graduate of this university. And Lisetja Kganyago, who is now the Chancellor of the University of Stellenbosch, and now the gentleman who has signed your 10 rands notes, your 50 and 200, is a graduate of this university. I thought it was important when you graduate to know that you have mentors and models, to know that you have people who have gone on from this university to building nations, to building continents, to building important multilateral institutions in the world. And finally, in the last 7 years or 10 years, UNISA has produced at least 7 vice chancellors in our country. The latest being Professor Thenjiwe Meyiwa, the new Vice Chancellor of University of Mpumalanga. Professor Ndlovu, who's the new Vice Chancellor of Vaal University of Technology. Professor Tinyiko Maluleke, the Vice Chancellor of TUT, our sister university. And many others, Mampele Rampele and others, would have walked through this hall. I am very proud as well, as the Vice Chancellor of the University of South Africa, to have been molded and formed by this university. And therefore, colleagues, whatever career you would like to have and to pursue, you have models before you that you can look up to. Education is the most powerful resource which you can use to change the world. This is a reinterpretation of the text by President Mandela about the value of education. Once more, a hearty congratulations. Welcome to UNISA, the home of leaders, the university of the land, the university shaping futures. Enjoy the graduation. Thank you very much, colleagues. As I stated to you earlier, the Chancellor of the University of South Africa is His Excellency President Mbeki, and therefore at this point, I'd like to request Professor Jay Reid to deliver the Chancellor's address. Professor Reid, you're welcome to the lectern. Thank you.
The Chancellor of the University of South Africa, His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, the Principal and Vice Chancellor, Professor Puleng Lenkabula, Chairperson of Council, Registrar, Vice Principals, members of the Executive Management of the University, Executive Deans, college representatives, professors and colleagues, parents, spouses, family, friends, esteemed guests, but most importantly, our remarkable graduates, good evening. And congratulations. As I look at all of you today and all of your faces resplendent in your academic regalia, I see the culmination of years of sacrifice, intellectual rigor, perseverance, and scholarly dedication. But beyond the certificates that you will receive today, and beyond the photographs of you in your beautiful gown, you carry something far more valuable. You carry knowledge, you carry skills, and perhaps most importantly, you carry the responsibility that comes with both. Today, you have earned the right to add that precious qualification to your CV, but the question I would like to ask you is this. Will your diplomas, your degrees, your advanced qualifications be used by you as mere credentials, or will you wield them for positive change? You are graduating at a time when it would be easy to feel overwhelmed by the state of our world. Around the globe, we are witnessing conflicts that seem obscene and tragic. We see inequality that persists despite our best efforts. We observe environmental degradation that threatens our collective future. Locally, we face challenges that test our resilience daily. The news cycle can feel relentless, and each headline seems to be darker than the last. Now, I'm a professor of communications science, and I specialize in media studies, and even I don't want to read the news anymore. But I'm not saying all of this to dampen your celebration, far from it. I say all of this because you need to know that we see it too. We acknowledge it, and we believe that you are part of the answer. I want to remind you of the spirit of Ubuntu. A person is a person through other people. This profound African philosophy reminds us that we are fundamentally interconnected. Your success today is not yours alone. It belongs also to the parents who sacrificed for you, the partners who supported you, the children who understood why you had to study instead of play, the friends who encouraged you, and the lecturers who guided you. You have become who you are through others, and others will become who they are through you. So this is not merely a philosophical nicety, it's also a call to action. As you leave here today, you're going to step out into your various fields, whether you're heading into boardrooms or classrooms, laboratories or courtrooms, hospitals or communities. But I want you to remember that you are not simply employees or professionals. You are also change agents. During your time at UNISA, we have endeavored to equip you with more than technical and theoretical knowledge. We have also sought to instill in you a framework of ethics, a commitment to integrity, and an understanding that how you achieve something matters just as much as what you achieve. Now, these principles going forward in the future, they may cost you in the short term. There will be the contract that you don't sign because it doesn't feel quite right. There will be the promotion that you don't accept because it requires sacrificing your values. There will be the task that you choose to do yourself instead of cheating with AI. There will be the easy path that you don't take because you know that there's a better way. Sometimes these principles manifest in the courage to speak up when something isn't right, even when silence would have been easier. We become who we are through others. I became who I am largely through my father, Roland Reed, who, Madam Vice-Chancellor, is also a graduate of this university. I'm obscenely proud to be the daughter of an ex-convict. And I can see you're all a bit shocked now that I would admit that so freely. My dad was a boy of 16 when he was jailed for the first time. Over the subsequent years, he spent much of his young life in prison. Why? His crime was that he refused to abide by the inhumane rules of an apartheid government. Thank you. So here was a young, white, cisgender man living under a system that was actually designed to benefit people like him. Would it have been easier for him to just follow the rules, stay silent, and do nothing? Yes, absolutely. But would it have been the right thing to do in the face of institutionalized evil? No, never. I'm telling you the story to remind you that we all have a moral responsibility to address injustice, even when it doesn't personally affect us. And because also you will find that sometimes you have to choose between following the rules and doing what's right. Those two aren't always the same thing. Going against the grain, refusing to simply follow along, or breaking the rules not because you are a rule breaker, because the rules themselves are wrong, takes courage. Doing the right thing will be uncomfortable sometimes, or even downright difficult. But here's what I can promise you. Your principles will define you far more powerfully than any temporary comfort ever could. Your character is not built in moments of compliance. Compliance is easy. Your character is forged in the moments where the only thing compelling you to do the right thing is the fact that it is the right thing. So I want to challenge you to embrace a broader definition of success. Yes, pursue excellence in your future careers, build the life that you have worked so hard for, but also ask yourself regularly, who am I helping? Whose burden am I lightening? Where am I making things even slightly better than what I found them? This doesn't require you to abandon your own personal ambitions. It simply asks that you remain awake to the needs around you. The recently passed anthropologist Dr. Jane Goodall said, "You cannot get through a single day without having an impact on the world around you. What you do makes a difference. And you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." Now, that statement can serve both as an inspiration and a challenge. Jane Goodall was someone who made an enormous contribution and a huge difference in the world. But not all contributions have to be so gargantuan. Sometimes the biggest change comes from the sum of thousands of small efforts. In other words, often the potential to do good comes in the little things. It's in the junior colleague who you work with that needs your mentorship. It's in the community initiative that's looking for volunteers. It's in the individual close to you who simply needs some form of acknowledgement. These are the spaces where Ubuntu comes alive, where the philosophy transforms from abstract concept into a lived reality. You will face moments, many of them, when you are tired, where the problems seem too large, where your contribution feels too small to matter. In those moments, I urge you to remember today. Remember that you have already demonstrated your capacity for persistence, for growth, for overcoming obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Remember that you are also part of a community of scholars and graduates from this 151-year-old institution who are scattered across the globe, each in their own way trying to make things better. You are not alone in this endeavor, and you are in good company. And please remember this: not every act of good needs to be monumental. Now, the world does need people who will tackle the big problems, who will lead movements, who will lead countries, who will build institutions and create sweeping change. But the world equally needs people who will show up with consistency and compassion in ordinary moments. Like the teacher who stays late to help the struggling student, or the manager who leads with empathy, or the healthcare worker who treats each patient with dignity and respect. These small acts ripple outward in ways that we cannot always trace, but they matter profoundly. As you prepare to leave this hall tonight with your certificates in your hands and your futures unfolding before you, I want you to know that we are all extraordinarily proud of you. You have demonstrated remarkable resilience, particularly those of you who balance your studies with work, with children, with family responsibilities, and the countless demands of daily life. You have already proven yourself capable of significant achievement. Now we ask you to be equally ambitious in your compassion, your integrity, in your commitment to building a world that reflects the best of what humanity can be. Graduates, you are ready. Not because you have all the answers, no one does, but because you have the tools, the character, and the spirit of Ubuntu as your guide to seek those answers alongside others. You have earned your place here tonight, and you will earn your place in the world beyond these walls. Go forth with confidence. Go forth with humility. Go forth with the knowledge that you carry not just your own hopes, but the hopes of all those who believed in you. And go forth knowing that in whatever you do, wherever you land, you have the capacity to be a force for good. Congratulations, graduates. We cannot wait to see what you will become, what you will build, and how you will shape the world. I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we start the conferment, I'd like to thank Professor Reed for not only reminding us from her own autobiography about the history we come from, the imperative to change society, and to speak truth even when it's not easy. She also encourages you, our graduates, to ensure that you become strong, help society, your values, resources of care, compassion, dignity, excellence, and you become the best and consistent in your work. Colleagues, can you help me to give a round of applause to Professor Reed for the pearls of wisdoms she would have shared with us? Thank you, Professor Reed. We will take the insights that you shared with us. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, before we start the conferment of the degrees and diplomas of the University of South Africa, that you do not move up and down or leave the hall because we are recording you, and to make the event dignified. They also say if you're using your toothpick, don't forget it in your teeth, lest the camera shows on you. I'm just joking. They request me to ask you to keep your phones on, but the volume off, so that they do not disturb the processes. Equally, please try not to have your light projecting on the colleagues on the stage. Many of them are disabled. They need help to see you and therefore require your support. Finally, they request me to request you, as you celebrate your family member who is graduating, please allow the next person to hear their name being called to graduate. If this happens, we will have a wonderful graduation where all graduates will feel acknowledged, supported, and appreciated. At this point, colleagues, I now have the opportunity to request Mr. Chancellor. I now have the honor to request you to confer the degrees and diplomas of the University of South Africa on the candidates whose name appear in the program.
By virtue of the powers entrusted to me, I confer the degrees and diplomas of the university on the candidates whose names appear in the program.
Mr. Chancellor, the executive deans of the colleges will now present the candidates to you. before you start presenting the candidates, colleagues, our guests, can we request you to have your volume off? As it is, you're late, and we request that we have the graduations with dignity. Colleagues who are supporting our guests, can you help them to sit, to distribute themselves quickly? Oh, nice. This is what makes. Colleagues who are coming in, can we request you to move fast? The graduations have already started. Can we move fast, please?
Should I appear? No, wait.
If you're young, run. If you're older, we understand. Thank you, colleagues, for moving with speed. In future, we would like you to come to UNISA graduations an hour before so that you are able to. Majority of you were taking pictures down and not prioritizing graduations. Colleagues, yes, we closed the door on time and we apologize. This is how universities run. They run on time. Thank you very much. And to our students, we request you in future to ensure that you embody the values and principles we would have said are important for you. We did not teach you only the content of your disciplines, but we've said you're a citizen of the country, you are an ambassador of this university, and you have to conduct yourself with such grace. So thank you very much. Let me request the executive deans of the colleges to present the candidates to the Chancellor. Thank you.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Fezile Treasure Matsebula for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her co-supervisor, Dr. Kos Temba Masumbuga, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In her thesis entitled A Framework for Adopting Learning Analytics in Higher Education, she investigated the dimensions and factors influencing the adoption of learning analytics in South African higher education institutions. She developed a contextually reliant framework that addresses challenges such as digital transformation, institutional preparedness, and ethical considerations. Her works makes a significant contribution by providing actionable insights and tailored models to enhance the integration and effective use of linear analytics in South African higher education. The main supervisor of this study was Professor Mkandla.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Fezile Treasure Matsebula the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Fezile Treasure Matsebu.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Kimberly Ajwa Bediako, the daughter of Prof. Mpako. I was ex-school director in the School of Arts for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her supervisor, Prof. R.T. Mukudwana, to read a citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In her thesis titled Digital Natives, a study evaluating digital fashion marketing communication strategies for South Africa's Generation Z consumers, she examined and recommends digital fashion communication strategies that the fashion industry can apply when targeting South African Generation Z consumers. Using narratographic and mixed research methods, she develops innovative conceptual frameworks for evaluating the effectiveness of digital fashion communication aimed at Gen Z consumers. The study reveals that fashion companies can enhance brand loyalty, drive sustainable growth in the digital era, and ensure future industry preparedness by continuously adapting to Gen Z consumer preferences.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Kimberly Ajwa Bediako the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Kimberly Adwa Bediako.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Grace Dingase Chisamya for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her supervisor, Professor F.C. De Beer, to read a citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In her thesis, An Evaluation of the National Strategy for Community Participation in Primary School Management in Malawi, a theory-driven approach, Grace Chisamya concludes that the strategy was implemented suboptimally. Her findings highlight that capacity building and awareness were crucial for facilitating community participation, but were insufficiently provided. The thesis is particularly valuable for proposing a program theory that can serve as a conceptual framework for research and evaluation related to community participation in education, making a significant contribution to both the praxis and the theory of development studies. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Grace Dingase Chisamia the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Grace Dingase Chisami.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Hanatu Abue Kegwen for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her supervisor, Professor Ngulube, to read a citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In her thesis entitled Enhancing Access and the Use of Electronic Information Resources in Selected Technical University Libraries of Ghana, she thoroughly investigated the nature, level of access, and the extent to which electronic resources can be accessed and used in technical university libraries in Ghana. Building on this and using a mixed method design, she proposes a framework that provides educative support for information professionals, enhancing their understanding and the provision of improved access and the use of electronic resources.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Hanatu Abue Kekbelen the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Hanatu Abue Kublenu. Well done, Sisi. Well done.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Mutu Hadini Lufuno Muhaba for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request his supervisor, Professor T.S. Meyiwa, to read a citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In his thesis titled Exploring the Role of Language in Gender Disparity in Chivenda, a survey of Vuani community, he examines how language perpetuates gender disparities in the Vuani community, where women are often viewed as dependents and subjected to derogatory expressions. Using a qualitative approach within an interpretivist paradigm, he demonstrates how proverbs and terms reinforce male dominance and contribute to gender-based violence. His findings highlight the need to redefine gender-based violence to include verbal abuse. This study provides important insights into the role of language in sustaining inequality and offers recommendations to promote equity and respect in Chivenda-speaking communities. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Mutu Hadini Lufuno Muaba the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Adini Lufuno Muaba.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Tanya Peterse for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her supervisor, Dr. B.R. Perry, to read a citation in support of the degree. Effective rehabilitation results in reduced crime rates, lower social and economic costs, as well as improved public safety. In her thesis entitled Religious and Spiritual Engagement in the Coping and Rehabilitation of Offenders, she explores how religious and spiritual engagement assist in the rehabilitation of people who are incarcerated. Her study empirically demonstrates that religion, spirituality, and chaplaincy within corrections fosters personal development and reinvention through spiritual growth and social support. Utilizing interpretative phenomenological analysis, she develops an emergent model for stakeholders, highlighting the need for greater collaboration and resource distribution to promote resilience and rehabilitation beyond offenders' incarcerated status. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Tanya Peterse the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Tanya Peterson. Well,
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce you to Boitumelo Shai for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. His supervisor was Dr. K.B. Tsebe, and now it's my privilege to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In his thesis entitled Psychological Skills Transfer Using a Mindfulness Acceptance Commitment Approach amongst adolescent recreational soccer players residing in a safe home in Gauteng, South Africa, this study investigates the effectiveness of a marked intervention in transferring psychological skills of orphaned adolescents from soccer participation to other life contexts. This mixed method study employs a randomized controlled trial design with 20 orphaned adolescents residing in a safe home. The 7-week mark intervention integrated into soccer training targets interpersonal skills, group cohesion, mindfulness, self-awareness, resilience, empathy, and self-regulation. The results demonstrate the therapeutic value of soccer participation and the effectiveness of marked interventions in transferring psychological skills to orphaned adolescents. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Boitumelo Shai the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Boitumelo Shai.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Busisiwe Nelisiwe Shabalala for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Her supervisor was Professor Dube, and now it's my privilege to read a citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In her study entitled Towards Developing a Model for Resource Allocation in Selected Academic Libraries in South Africa, she addressed the pressing challenge of allocating limited resources in higher education to sustain teaching, learning, and research. By proposing a practical and adaptive model, she offered academic libraries a roadmap for balancing financial, human, and technological needs amid evolving pressures. Her contribution is twofold: providing actionable strategies for South African universities and advancing global scholarship with a locally grounded yet internationally relevant framework, enriching both theory and practice in resource management. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Busisiwe Nelisiwe Shabalala the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Busisiwe Nelisiwe Chabala.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Doreen Amina Chilungo for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request her supervisor, Professor S.A. Ngubani, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
In her thesis entitled An Investigation on the Role of Teachers in Expanding Access to Secondary Schools in Malawi, Amina undertakes a qualitative study that employs Nancy Fraser's framework for social justice, the Declaration on the Right to Development, and teacher agency as theoretical frameworks. These theories provide a multidimensional lens that enables her to locate herself within the headspace of the participants. Its findings unfold many facets around teachers' role in expanding access to secondary education. It also supports legislation that advances children's interests in accordance to the Malawi Vision 2063 to exterminate intergenerational poverty. Her study's contribution is the Educator-Learner-Centered Guidelines for Enhancing Access to Education, which promotes inclusive teaching practices to create positive classroom climate by focusing on learner strengths. This study was co-supervised by Dr. Bongani Gambula, who's my postdoctoral fellow.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Doreen Amina Chilungo the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Doreen Amina Chilung.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Romeo Abwajie, for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I request his supervisor, Dr. H. Mama, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree. In the absence of his supervisor, I will read the citation. In his thesis entitled Financial Sector Reform and Banks Efficiency in Ghana, he examines how regulatory reforms, recapitalization policies, and ownership structures influence bank efficiency. Using data in envelopment analysis and complementary econometric models, he evaluates the impact of regulatory pressures, recapitalization, and ownership structures on banks' efficiency outcomes. These findings shows that reforms enhance efficiency, especially during periods of capitalization regulation, while ownership and banks' effects varied across banks. This study makes a valuable contribution by advancing insights into financial reform and its implications on the banking systems in Africa, by providing important lessons for policymakers, regulators, and banks experts. Insights into financial reform and its implications for banking systems in Africa. Mr. Chancellor, while providing important lessons to confer on Romeo Aguadius and the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request Romeo Aguadius the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Philosophy on Romeo Aguadius.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to introduce to you Zeleka Zirani as request his supervisor, Professor M.W. Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor
To introduce to you Zeleke Ziraye Asnaku for the degree of Doctor of Business Leadership. I request his supervisor, Professor M.W. Mlitwa, to read the citation in support of the conferment of the degree.
Mr. Chancellor, in Zeleke's thesis titled Antecedents and Consequences of Unethical Leadership, Evidence from Selected Public Institutions in Ethiopia, Zeleke examined factors that contribute to ethical failures in public institutions. Adopting a critical realist perspective, he combined quantitative survey data with explanatory qualitative interview data from selected participants in Ethiopian public institutions to do two things. One, to identify key factors leading to unethical practices. Secondly, to test an empirical model linking unethical leadership with followers' organizational deviance. The findings link organizational deviance with institutional weaknesses, economic constraints, and disproportionate remunerations. Political instability, greed, cynicism, prevailing organizational culture, and industry norms also featured prominently in this equation. Drawing on social exchange and social learning theories, he developed a framework to do two things again: to guide proactive preventative measures and mitigate the adverse effects of unethical leadership in Ethiopian public entities and comparable context.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to confer on Zeleke Siraye Asnake the degree of Doctor of Business Leadership.
I confer the degree of Doctor of Business Leadership on Zeleke Siraye Asnake.
Mr. Chancellor, Puleng Ndaba receives the degree of Master of Education.
Mr. Chancellor, Maite Elizabeth Budipa receives the degree of Master of Philosophy.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Master of Arts. Tembisile Maria Dlamini receives the degree with distinction. Ray Sipho Likhodi. Mr. Chancellor, Nyawalusani Gloria Madima receives the degree of Master of Information Science.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Master of Science. Anibit Itzem Ibok. Rafilio Pasasana Rabotata.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree Master of Laws. Donald Kubai, Bajabulile Thandekile Cordelia Mbata.
Mr. Chancellor, Nonhlanhla Priscilla Kobe receives the degree of Master of Science.
Mr. Chancellor, Andrieka Matsidi Sopeko receives the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours.
Mr. Acting Vice Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Commerce Honours. Crystalline Nomasizo Dliwayo. Malisiba Millicent Mabe. Megi Khomotso Motlou. Cherita Maditsahe Poshoko. Oh, okay. Nico Mulantwa Sikaulelo.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Honors in Education. Thokozile Joanna Kaba, Nontobeko Promise Dlalisa, Johanna Tsekofatso Mahlatsi, Mbalizethu Petunia Vilakazi. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Education. Nicole Meruska Martins. Tsakhazo Mashabela. Tolakele Mayinga. Molapo Ponto. Charlotte Matapelo Moloi. Simon Letsatsi Mutsikidi. Duduzile Ngabinde. Avurengwi Piri. Chehofajo Gail Wise. Tobokile Butelezi.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Baccalaureus Technologiae. Tshegofatso Lephemang Mphahlele. Lebogang Bremlim Tombeni. Tanyani Isaac Nechifefe. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Administration. Mokhayeji Nkele Lina Malika. Dumisile Doli Mnguni. Ntswaki Betty Motlala. Nomadlozi Patricia Ndlovu. Venetius Piwe Ndlovu. Nkateko Ngobeni. Zintle Faith Zimu. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration. Anneke Ackerman. Bongiwe Qetwayo. Urapeleng Daniel Kiarilenyane. Portia Makanani Khotlwane. Ketura Koloi. Noluthando Lillian Kunene. Tebogo Lebepe. Mandla Zenzele Brian Mabaso. Mantika Anthea Maja, Moroke Refilwe Desmond Mahalimele, Mothomogolo Pete Makitla, Aluwani Manganyi, Kgaogelo Octavia Mangwale, Telmo Tinashe Mateka, Remsi Thabo Mathebe, Nketa Priscilla Mbombo Zebo, Giselle Ndelela Chibuila, Loretta Dimakatso Nzoia, Tembiso Nicholas Ngwenya, Langelihle Fortunate Ntuli, Raisibe Asnat Ramadzia, Lungile Ayanda Sithole, Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Commerce. Janine Tania, Africa. Nokwazi Nontobeko, Afrikander. Kenny Banda. Gert Beekes. Thank you. Hesty Brits. Ruan Biles. Tandiwe Sinazo Daniel. Malifetsani Waiti Diotro. Duduzile Dube. Rosalia Kaleinasho Ndapandula Ekanjo. Sibusisiwe Gama. Kishendran Gavenda. Lucretia Taiwan Gwebu. Scott Taylor Hathfield. Maburwa Miriam Lehlokwa. Ramasela Esther Luhujo. Diboneng Sina Letebele. Siphelele Bongiwe Maduna. Ndomupeishe Madzimure. Thabang Junior Mahlangu. Matawane Charity Makena. Matumi Jackson Makgoba. Dikeledi Noria Makhubela. Butlari Welcome Makhubele. Maite Makutudise. Meta Lindiwe Mampa. Sipe Sana Manoto. Ruth Mashamanda. Lorraine Mashita Tona. Johanna Mashitisho. Ndambi Solomon Maswanganye. Vezithemba Mayo. Sanele Cynthia Mlambo. Kamogelo Magwale Mary Modiselle. Tiko Mugorosi obtains the degree with distinction. Kifilwe Confidence Mukhobinyani. Mathabo Victoria Muloi. Noluthando Happiness Muloi. Solufelo Mungale. Sakile Muraba. Tsatsawani Mastasia Morale. Lehlogonolo Moshomane. Kifilwe Daisy Mushi. Avantika Naidu. Tiara Kathleen Naidu. Tinil Naidu. Sibongile Kelebogile Ndimande. Jennifer Ngobeni. Lindeni Beauty Nhlapo. Pete Moses Nkuna. Paulos Poloma. Khodani Popi. Caroline Marinki Pimpi. Mabogale Rosa Radingwana. Kaila Rajkumar obtained the degree with distinction. Violet Puti Ramatlodi. Sipati Nelly Rapapadi. Shologelo Makatisa Rapasha. O Arabile Vanessa Seleka. Ke amogetswe Lebogang Setshedi. Basetsana Ruth Sibia. Stella Sizeka Sifanele. Temagugu Pumlile Simelani. Christopher Pindas Kosana. No. Face that direction. Leanne Sopionas obtained the degree with distinction. Olga Rose Tabede. Ntlantla Thuli. Merneshri van Eden obtained the degree with distinction. Igna van Niekerk. Ke lebogile Colleen Mashodi.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Accounting Sciences. Christopher July Nchauke. Katlego Salamina Kekana. Lebohang Maome. Zinhle Kendi Nomakhosi Mbonga. Olorato Charlotte Morerwa.
Mr. Chancellor, The following candidates received the degree Bachelor of Laws. Sindile Baku, Lungile Spesihle Buthelezi, Helen Chabalala, Jolene Renee Hoyman, Darren Govender, Sarah Neo Mabunda, Nkagiseng Lucia Mayeko, Mahlatsi Makoma Maenecha, Shivika Maharaj, Tracy Manguiro, Billy Manzini, Maheroa Necha Matlejwan, Nathaniel Francois Mavis, Julia Dipuo Modiba, Kamogelo Patrick Mohwane, Nkukuni Talita Mode, Florence Mukwambi, Natasha Mvemve Ngube, Mthandeni Ntombifikile Ndlovu, Mataki Joanna Puti, Riabetswe Miriam Popedi, Setlakwe Rebecca Sigole, Frufelo Sipuku, Olwetu Tidi Upela,
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received a degree of Bachelor of Arts. Maria Komotso Betere Mabuza, Bongiwe Biola Malotana, Zidom Felangani Selina Mashapa, Linda Mavis Zibuko, Godisho Millicent Molala, Mpho Mokgokong Molepo, LC Nkochi Ndwambi, Mr. Chancellor. The candidate I'm about to introduce to you and present to you is a bona fide staff member of the University of South Africa and also a NISA maize bearer. He is Nditsweni Charles Rapango. Mr. Chancellor, Janet Rukangwa obtains the degree with distinction. Godfrey Sonabo Shibambu, Noluyanda Lorenda Tswanyana, Mr. Chancellor, the following candidate received the degree of Bachelor of Commerce: Eva Mantepana Mudise, Nomza Monchinga,
Mr. Chancellor, Jabu Muziokolo Tembe received a degree of Bachelor of Science.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Science in the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences. Mami Martha Makokwe. Konanani Janet Pungela. Musibudi Kreni Siakamela. Yamkelani Velapi. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Linhle Michelle Hlatswayo. Olga Makola. Kumucho Deborah Matale. Uzotolani Tobile Mchize. Loiso Pumla Pai.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the College of Human Sciences. Magdalene Bowaneng Mampane. And Mr. Chancellor, this is a UNISA staff member, Lovinia Miriam Manzine. Peladi Mashiho. Hannah Papenfas. Dimakatso Angel Makola. Kiamogetsi Petunia Wesi.
Mr. Chancellor, the diploma candidates will now be introduced to you. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the postgraduate diploma in the College of Accounting Sciences. Siyabonga True Love Magubane. Reginald Tsepo Mampya. Masiecha Charity Rosen Mulidi. Mapakani Tupana.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the postgraduate diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Kamogelo Rosin Boshomani. Abna Kapoko Ditshego. Kabelo Laki Kinosi. Maki Lisbeth Mofokeng. Odeti Bebeti Shilwani.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the diploma in the College of Human Sciences. Aobokwe Magatsi. Kamogelo Ranto Makinta. Achilau Mposhomali. Was it good? Galelo Faith Khadebe, diploma obtained with distinction.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received diploma in the College of Science, Engineering and Technology. Sakwati Locate Mashabane.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received a diploma in the College of Law. Matumbo Hamba. Monica Tabang Songwane. Tsireletso Faith Songwane. Ritsidisitswe Abraham Lebata. Lorraine Matori Mabala. Dibuyo Poshia Maboho. Sipiwe Poshia Matangu. Bonang Makubedu. Sipile Nkosiko na Manzini. Cindy Petunia Masangu. Matimu Mashele. Sharon Mathieu. Wisani Frida Matsambu. Tembela Mbali Mkwanazi. Constance Raiseja Mwela. Nompumelelo Mokhashwa. Machweni Dumanzile Ntsewa. Lebokhani Gloria Rabapani. Bontle Lucia Sateke. Jennifer Seroka. Vince, come back, come back. Vice Mandilake Vayisa.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates receive the diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Natalie Augustine. Tamalani Daisy Chauke. Francina Marcela Bunolo Chweni. Refilwe Ditseho. Zitle Dudula. Chanel Tricia Gavenda. Tlotlomatso Trudy Hlongwane. Elsie Tandi Kabini. Grace Sejane Kekana. Samantha Lerato Khatla. Gloria Tebogo Kumalo. Amukelani Rose Machebele. Ilona Siwela Mafa. Mpho Mahase. Maponye Ruth Mahlaku. Precious Mahlangu. Mzomtle Mahola. Palisa Martha Mahabutlane. Lethabo Desri Makofani. Nkululeko Ezekiel Malindisa. Lulekani Maluleka. Muiponi Lovely Maripane. Given Shibishi Masipa. Nkensani Pete Matonsi. Sandra Sipiwe Mbata. Nokhanyo Mboti. Edna Mukwena. Lerato Bridget Mosalo. Gaupalelwi Blessing Motsamai. Nasonyana Geli Mutsuyane. Preference Moyo. This is a birthday boy, Mtunzi James Mweli. Valencia Nkodi. Mr. Chancellor, Kodani Judith Nyamutambo obtained the diploma with distinction. Ntabiseng Vanessa Sikwibidu. Nosipho Anxious Sibanyoni. Nombulelo Victoria Tsweu obtained the diploma with distinction. Good enough Nkululeko Zulu. Tembelihle Zulu. Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the National Diploma in the College of Economic and Management Sciences. Hazel Chikaza. Siyasanga Gwaza. Ntabiseng Sheli Hlatla. Stephen Legogole Lekwane. Thabo Andrew Maiketso. Makwena Marcus Makura. Sibongile Matipa. Lerato Sandra Mbokazi. Nkosinathi Banele Mbuyani. Noligwa Sylvia Mkungeka. Chirofacho Constance Mudise. Refilwe Precious Mukwape. Tumelo Muletsani. Mahlatse Samuel Moyambo. Flora Ketso Nawani. Nyambeni Makadzi Neshifefe. Kolani Wiseman Nkosi. Antoinette Lesego Ntsuku. Millicent Sipiwe Sesi Ntuli. Matlala Elizabeth Patswane. Patutedo Sadiki. Sebongile Onika Tefo.
Mr. Chancellor, the following candidates received the diploma in the College of Accounting Sciences. Mishak Kaugelo Tina. Eunice Kosi Chabalala.
Mr. Chancellor, I have the honor to request you to congratulate the graduates on receiving their degrees and diplomas from the University of South Africa.
Thing makes you look tall. Principal and Vice Chancellor, members of Council, President of the Convocation, members of the UNISA's executive management and staff, and the splendidly gowned academics who are seated with us on stage, who are here to support our graduates this evening. Families, guardians, and friends of our graduates tonight, and most important, of course, the UNISA graduates. Graduation ceremonies are a matter of great pride for the graduates, their families, friends, guardians, and of course for us at the university. And there is something special about these ceremonies that has as much to do with the personal achievement of an important academic milestone and goal as it does with the ceremony itself. And there is indeed a sense that is one of those rare moments, defining moments, when a truly joyful celebration is merited. The brightly colored robes of the academic procession, the red and black gowns and caps, and the differently designed hoods of the graduates, the symbols like the ceremonial mace and the formulaic ceremony and capping ritual acknowledge and lend legitimacy to the individual effort and the knowledge and skills that have been acquired over the period of study. I'm indeed honored to stand here as we are about to conclude this important celebration of the achievements of the graduates before us, to congratulate you all on your very well earned and surely hard-won qualifications. I also take this opportunity to congratulate this magnificent university that is UNISA for its sustained efforts to continue to produce the high-caliber graduates who are with us today. Albert Einstein once said that the process of scientific discovery is, in effect, a continual flight from wonder. And thus, through the knowledge you have acquired, you have joined that empowering flight from wonder and further reduced the perimeters of the unknown by the new which some of our distinguished graduates have added to the totality of human knowledge. And in this context, I must indeed congratulate our doctoral graduates this evening. Congratulations, doctors. Thus, does society as a whole join us here today to celebrate your success, since that achievement means that humanity has gained new capacities to help bring about progress and transformation for the greater good of all humanity. Your welcome success has also confirmed that through you, its graduates, the university continues to take seriously its responsibility to understand and appreciate the role that it needs to play in society. So, dear UNISA graduates, you have joined the ranks of the brightest and best in South Africa, our continent, and the world. And we, the spouses, the parents, the families, the academic, management, and other staff, and indeed the country, our continent and beyond, extend our sincere and proud congratulations to you, and together all of us say, very well done. And we hope that your success will foster in you the desire and confidence to say, I want more and I can achieve more. Empowered both to help create a better world as well as attain personal progress. And so to the families, the friends and guardians who stood by our graduates and supported them in their studies, we congratulate you as well. Your support has contributed in a very tangible way to the valuable academic achievements we have gathered to recognize and celebrate. So, dear graduates, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention. And I do hope that as you leave here, you will go out to celebrate. Thanks a lot and congratulations.
You may be seated. I think, loved ones, this is the opportunity for those ululations, mecholokwani, and applause for the successes of our graduates, particularly because I said when we started, they're lucky. I only saw a president on TV when I graduated. They've been lucky to hold his hand. And I saw somebody also, taking some anointing for himself from the president. This is the time for applause, ululations, and contact. Thank you, His Excellency President Becky, for not only being a great chancellor of a university that carries the name of the country, but through you, your work, your leadership, and your presidency, we were always certain that you are inviting us to being great citizens in our country, in our continent, and in the world. Another round of applause, colleagues. We do not take for granted your voice calling leaders to ethical duty, calling universities such as UNISA to working hard and to ensuring that education is a true resource. And for that, we thank you. At this point, can I request the graduates who passed with cum laude to stand up quickly? Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for making us proud. But I want to speak to those who did not get cum laude. Don't worry. Your next degree, you're going to get your cum laude. And then, colleagues, let me request the colleagues who are not coming from South Africa to stand up. We have colleagues from Ghana, Malawi, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, all of them, Eswatini. When the University of South Africa says we don't teach only within the borders, but we have a footprint in 130 countries, we mean it. Here is the evidence. Congratulations. You may be seated. They come from Ghana, Malawi, Ethiopia, Eswatini, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Botswana. Akwaba, I said Ghana. Thank you very much. We're quite proud for identifying INISA as an important institution for your academic journey and your excellence. Thank you very much. Colleagues, can I ask diplomates to stand up? Please stand up. Those who graduated with their diplomas. The Chancellor and the university communities remind me to request you to remember that the sky is not the limit, it's the horizon of research. And with your diplomas, there's still another step, your degrees. Congratulations. You may be seated. Can I request the colleagues with degrees, postgraduate diplomas, and honors to stand up? Thank you. Thank you very much. As we have said to those who graduated with their diplomas, just look ahead of you, just before you. So we would like you to continue to register for your master's degree. Congratulations, you may be seated. And colleagues and loved ones, in any country and any society, a master's degree is the penultimate degree in the qualifications framework. It means it's the second last. Can I request our master's degree graduates to stand up? And colleagues, just because I've reminded you that you're the penultimate qualification close to the apex does not mean you shouldn't stop registering. If you thought, oh my God, I got my master's, I'm done. I'm the most educated in my family and in my community. Look before you. The red gown must be beckoning on you. It must be invitational, but look behind you. So your role is to look and to support the university and our society to making education resourceful and fashionable, and to inspire the diplomates, those who got their degrees, to journey to where you are, because where you are is an important contribution. Congratulations. We are waiting for your applications for your doctoral degrees. Thank you. And of course, colleagues, a PhD is the apex qualification any university can offer to any students who are learning. And here are they in their red gowns. I request you to stand. Can I hear a little bit more from you who aspire to be like them? Thank you very much. I know that we said you're the apex, you're the last bastion of learning. But no, we didn't tell you something. This is the beginning of a new journey. If you look before you, the colleagues in the stage, the procession, these are colleagues who have made sure that you research in the area that you do, who have gone on to the laboratories to discover new ideas, who have gone to societies and communities to understudy what it is that can be learned to change society for the better. These are people who have supervised master's and doctoral degrees, who have published greatly to influence society, public systems, private sector, civil society, religious movements, and others. And therefore, this is the beginning of the journey. We request you to partner with us to ensuring that we teach, we research, we engage in scholarship, and scholarship that changes society for the better. Congratulations. You may be seated. And of course, colleagues, the loved ones, His Excellency President Becky and all statutory committees of the university request us to thank you for being partners in the learning journey. When our students needed books or they needed airtime, we give them airtime, but they may have asked for additional airtime. You were there for them. When they wanted to give up, you encouraged them never to give up. When they did not know what to study or were struggling with our invigilator systems that they know they have to comply with, but that sometimes they want to shortchange, you encourage them to do the right thing. President Becky extends his appreciation to you for being the partners in the education journey. Congratulations. And to you as students, my colleagues say we would not have finished if we don't ask you at least 5 questions that they didn't ask you in the classroom, in the laboratory, or elsewhere. How many of you, and this one is not from our colleagues who are coming from other countries, we know you've already flown from your countries to South Africa. Let me ask the locals. How many of you have been to the 9 provinces of the country? If you haven't, there's a bus, there's a taxi, there's Uber, there's a boat, there's a horse. Please make sure that you understand all the 9 provinces of the country because you're graduating from a university that has a national footprint. How many of you have driver's licenses? At least we know that you can use your cars to look for work or to creating work, or you can borrow a car to make it easy for you to have access. And if you don't have it, tomorrow the license department is open. You can go and apply for your learner's license so that you get your license. And therefore, how many of you have passports? It's in passport, it's not ID. Passports. If you don't have a passport, Home Affairs is open tomorrow. Please be the first in the queue to apply for a passport. It is important. It allows you to understand the world and to even access the space. So please make sure that the money that you are going to use to buy additional drinks, I heard President saying he's aware that you're going to celebrate. You can trim a little bit. The 2 bottles can pay for the passport. How many of you have been to SADC countries, at least 2 Southern African countries? Look next to you, colleagues. Take a friend, visit Eswatini. It's 500 kilometers from here. Lesotho, 600 kilometers. Mozambique, at least 750 kilometers. So please try to ensure that you understand the continent and SADC so that when you speak for Africa, you know the Africa that you're talking about. Finally, how many of you have been outside the African continent? So if you haven't, colleagues, we request you to ensure that you understand the world, because to represent, to be an ambassador of UNISA, an ambassador of the country, you must ensure that you know the world and you can reflect about the world. Thank you very much. We wish you all the best and success in your journey, including in the social questions that we have just posed to you. Ladies and gentlemen, can I request you to stand up? Let me request you to rise for the singing of the national anthem, the words of which are to be found on page 24 of our program. Let me request you to remain standing to allow His Excellency President Mbeki, the Chancellor of the University, to dissolve the congregation. Equally, may I request you to remain standing to allow the academic procession to leave the hall. And finally, may I request you to sing the national anthem with the dignity that it holds for the aspirations and the dreams of the future of our society are embodied in the few paragraphs of stanzas of that important national anthem. Thank you. Mr. Chancellor, my final request to you is to dissolve the congregation of the University of South Africa.
By virtue of the powers entrusted to me, I dissolve this congregation of the University of South Africa.